Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another wonderful edition of Restore Honor and Integrity to Bensalem. This particular episode, if you want to call it that, is not only for the citizens of this town, but in particular for the Democrats here in Bensalem. These are some, what I believe to be, real questions that the Democrats here in Bensalem need to start asking. Number one, bring up the SAFER grant. Ask why Fred Harran refused to give a copy of this vital document to the firefighters here in Bensalem. Better yet, ask him why he lied on it. There's proof, and we have it, that this document was filled out fraudulently. And as I said, we have it, especially I do. I'm also wondering, as many of you should, and this is something I'm hoping that you'll ask, why was the paid fire department here founded in complete violation of township ordinances? And why, after sitting on this grant for over a year, and please don't lie and say you didn't, because you did, why was it so absolutely completely necessary to take money away from the volunteer firefighters to help start this new fire department? I mean, that grant for the first year alone would have paid for everything. I guess somebody doesn't know how to manage things properly. And I'm wondering also, as you guys should, how in the world is this township going to further on be able to pay for this new full-time paid fire department? How in the world is that going to be accomplished? What, are you going to start taking more and more and more away from these poor volunteers? I'm also wondering, like everybody else is, what in the world was the reasoning, Harran, that you had behind slandering Union Fire Company for the past 2 years? Not only did you interfere with their boat grant, and you most certainly did, because we've got the proof. You interfered with their boat grant for so many times, and I do mean so many times. I'm still surprised on it. You interfered with this grant. Then, when you couldn't get your way about having that grant dealt with, and I think you were hoping on getting that money, you also went and suspended their operations on 2 occasions, and you based it on false accusations every time. Those 18 safety issues, you know as well as everybody else, they were false. They weren't valid. You tried to permanently shut them down, and that got stopped. You harassed and slandered their former chiefs, not only Vince Troisi, but also Dave Jerri Sr. and his son Dave Jerri Jr. You especially went after Dave Jerri Jr. on false charges of workmen's compensation insurance fraud. I, like even the Democrats, are asking why you did this, what in the world was your reasoning for it, and above all, since this man was completely exonerated of these criminal charges, these false trumped-up charges you put against him, why haven't you, or even the township, publicly apologized for this? I know I'd like to know. Wouldn't you guys? I'm also wondering what in the world was the real reason for the school district investigation taking as long as it did. I mean, it was taking a long time. And I'm also wondering, because this is something I've heard, and I want the public safety director to respond to this if he dares. Why, if this is true or not, I'd like to know. But I've been told by reliable people that this happened, that the public safety director went to the school board on behalf of one of those that was accused. I'm wondering, was it because this person was, I believe, a former official with Cornwell's Fire Company, was this person calling in a favor to you for supporting your harassment and slander of Union Fire Company? We have a right to know, and I would love a response if you've got the courage. I'm also wondering, in this same realm, and this is to Harran and the township, why hasn't former Detective Cannon's former supervisors been punished for their failure to properly supervise Detective Cannon and make sure she was handling her caseload properly, especially with the Walter Meyerly investigation? And I know that there's others. There's a couple of dozen others that she didn't handle properly because apparently she wasn't getting the help that she asked for. From what I've heard, she asked for help because she was having some difficulties handling all the caseloads. Somebody should have given her that help, don't you think? I mean, nothing was done with these supervisors. And I'm sure the citizens of this town would love to know. I mean, come on, you know, you severely went after Union Fire Company with false accusations, and yet you did nothing not only about this, but also what about the assault of that volunteer firefighter from Newport Fire Company? It was done by another volunteer firefighter who also was a paid firefighter for the township. And I'm wondering with that, because that's one of the areas back with the SAFER grant that you lied on. It's something called violating the Garcia Act. You stated on the SAFER grant application that this was a combination paid and volunteer fire company. It is on there. We've got it. I'm also wondering, not only with this little incident, but what about the sexual harassment of that female firefighter by a high-ranking official within Cornwall's Fire Company? You went and claimed, after a very quick, sloppy, in my opinion, 2-day investigation, that nothing happened. Okay, that really makes a lot of sense. What also really has me, curious is, why in this investigation did you not check both their cell phones? I'm also wondering why His Majesty and Court have refused to give myself and other concerned citizens of this town any honest answers concerning the township's budget by offering any type of status updates. And what I mean by status updates, in case you don't understand, is how about giving us things maybe on a monthly or a quarterly basis to us to show us like what progress is being made within the township when it comes to the budget. You see, no matter how hard you try to hide it, we've had deficits for at least the last 3 years. And the more you try to say that we balance the budget, the more I'm going to show that you really didn't. Balancing a budget doesn't mean drawing from the reserve fund. And that's something everybody in this town is really, really questioning. Why do you keep having to use the reserve fund to cover this obvious overspending? The way I am seeing it right now when it comes to this issue, something I've learned, is that by the time this is all said and done, it apparently has increased. It'll increase each year. It's been doing this for the last 4 years at least. I know previously it was $6.5 million. This past year it was $9.5 million. That more than likely means it's going to there's that possibility strongly of it being $12 million next year, then probably 15 after that, 17 after that, if not more, 19 plus million after that. And even if there's any modest interest over the next 5 years, This thing's going to be gone by 2018, and I'm referring to the reserve fund. Please, somebody try to prove me wrong on that one. Because I'll tell you right now, that's what we're calculating. And I'm sure you Dems are feeling the same way. What I'm seeing right now is something very serious, and I hope you are too. I have been bringing this up. I've been bringing this up and bringing this up and bringing it up. I started bringing things like this up at least 2 years ago, and I had certain people within the Democratic organization make false accusations towards me. And that's why I left. I wasn't kicked out. I left. I left mainly because I won't be accused falsely of being an anti-Semite, which I am not. And Joe Cummins, please forgive me, but I have to take a stand on this. I will not be accused falsely of creating the Bash DiGirolamo Obsessively Club. I'm here to give facts. I've been giving them, and there are people within the organization that have been shooting these facts down. And, Joe, I hope you know who they are. If you need to know, I'll tell you directly. But people need to know the facts. And you need to start acting on them. I know of a lot of people in this town that are finding the BDO completely useless. You guys got to stand up and start doing something. Legally, do something. You want answers on these things? Why don't you guys start submitting these right-to-know requests? I've been doing it. Would you like to come over and see some of the results I've gotten? Or are you too scared to? Is it because I'm a born-again Christian? Because that's the very same reason that the other side's attacking me, because of my faith, because I'm putting my faith in action and exposing the truth. If this is something that you're scared of, tough. I'm here to do this. And it's amazing, especially over the last year or so, how I've been proven right time and time and time again. I haven't heard one negative thing from any of the naysayers out there, and you know who you are. I guess I don't want to say it's fun being proven right. I feel kind of sad about it, because I'm seeing all the garbage going on in this town. And my biggest fear is this town's going to wind up like Harrisburg, and also most recently Stockton, California, broke. So guys, I would go to the next council meeting or school board meeting or both and say, we want some answers. That's it for now. You have a good one.